time for another DNA testing company comparison, and this time we're going to compare the Ancestry ThruLines feature versus MyHeritage's Theory of Family Relativity. Hello, I'm Devin Noel Lee with Family History Fanatics, where we help you understand your DNA, climb your family tree, and write your ancestor stories along the way. So while we start comparing the two tools that are on DNA testing companies, we're focusing on the tools that help us to build our DNA trees quickly. And you do have to have taken a DNA test with both companies. You need to make sure that you have linked your DNA test to a person, probably you or those you've gotten a DNA testing kit for. You have to link them to a family tree. And the more people that you have in that family tree, the more success you're going to have with the two tools from Ancestry and MyHeritage. But once you have done that, how do they stack up? Now, the first area that I want to award points to is which platform makes it easier for you to navigate to their quick tree building tool utilizing DNA tests. And remember, these are theories, they're not hard in stone, this is the absolute right ancestor. But which website makes it really easy for you to get to your ancestor? So on Ancestry ThruLines, you can get there in a number of ways. The first way is you can click on DNA and you can click on ThruLines. Now you're here on the ThruLines, quickly find an ancestor. Let's say Thomas Clayball with 31 matches. And I can quickly see the different paths of relationship with these DNA matches. 3 there, 7 there, 1 there, multiples 5, 9, 3, and so on. So that was pretty easy. There are other ways that you can get to this view. You can click on trees and be in your family tree. I can click on any of the people in my pedigree and it says ThruLines and it will take me to Henry Joseph's ThruLines. The other way that you can get there is from your DNA match list. Let's say I want to look at this one with my common ancestor. I can view the relationship and then I can click the ThruLines for further comparison. And I'm back to the Clayballs. Very easy to get to your ThruLines. MyHeritage requires you to take a number of clicks before you can get to your theories of family relativities if you have some. So first you need to go to DNA matches, and after an update, then theories of family relativity will sometimes have this big bold bar for you. If it doesn't appear for you, then what you need to do is scroll down and see if you're going to see something that says it, like right here, view theory of family relativity, and that's a new one. But you're going to filters, all tree details has theory of family relativity. Once you get there, you can see some of your relations. Click on view theory, and now we are comparing theories between my DNA test and my DNA match. I feel like the website that is easiest to navigate to get through the suggestions of how I'm connected to my matches through trees is Ancestry. And so I'm going to give 1 point to Ancestry for their ThruLines for ease of navigation. How often your theories are updated. So with Ancestry, they are running ThruLines for you and giving you recommendations pretty much every day. So when you make a change to your tree, a major change to your tree, like changing who your grandfather is, you typically need to wait 2 to 3 days before the ThruLines will populate with the altered data. That's pretty quick. And then you can make the change back to the other grandfather that you thought you might be related to. In 2 to 3 days, you're good to go. Anytime there's a new DNA test taker, within a few days, they will have ThruLines appear for themselves and those new connections will appear for you. Meanwhile, it is my understanding that the theories of family relativity are not updated with the same frequency as Ancestry. So you will have your theories for a while, then MyHeritage will do a massive update and you can pick up some new potential theories, but you have to wait for them to run the process. They say it's because they go through another topic we're going to talk about here in a moment, and because of all of the ways they're trying to give you hints, they can't do it as often. So for that, we're going to go ahead and give the point to Ancestry that they update frequently with your DNA recommendations for building the tree. Let's talk about being able to see multiple paths of relationships for you and your DNA matches. Now we're going to go back to MyHeritage just because it was pulled up last. And with this match, this recommendation is through this path from Alonzo to Myra Mar to Alonzo right here. Okay, so another path could be this way. I can pass through this tree and go through that connection point to this individual. Notice how they didn't have very many people in their tree, but MyHeritage was able to use this third tree to make that happen. So that's really easy. What if you are related to a cousin through different common ancestors? So notice this says Nicholas Clayball and Rebecca Dickey. Right at the top, I have Theory 2 and I have Theory 1. And notice how the individuals at the top are different. This is Edward Nash and this is Polly Nash. I like how it is easy to see the different potential common ancestor combinations that you have there. Now on Ancestry, they don't necessarily have multiple paths of how you connect to your relatives. So let's look at this match. I have a through line for James Brown, and I have some of these potential ancestors. Why are they potential? Because I keep my tree fairly narrow on Ancestry. It's very large over on Family Search. But there's this William Brown, and he is a potential brother of Samuel Curtis Brown. I haven't been able to figure it out. Records don't tell me. DNA would be the only possible joining factor. And we have a number of people down here who say, well, maybe it's through William. However, if we go to our matches, I think they're through a different line. That different line, just over here, it says, well, they could be through James Brown, but view more possible relations or common ancestors, And then there's this Joseph Fickle and Nancy Tainhill. So I'm going to click on that through line, and it's entirely possible that that's how we're related as well, because the Fickle married a Brown, and so Martha married a Brown. So the aunt and the niece married Browns who could be brothers, or maybe they're not brothers at all. I think it's a tie that both companies help you see different paths of relationship between you and your common ancestor and your DNA matches. Let's go ahead and give that a tap. The next area I want to focus on is utilization of records. Now, some of you already know who's going to win this one. So what happens is you have a DNA test that you match, and you have yours, and you built your trees, but there's no third tree or your tree that makes a connection. Well, then what? Are you out of luck? No, you're not out of luck. So over on MyHeritage, sometimes you're going to find trees where you're going through other trees. MyHeritage will not only use trees built on the MyHeritage platform, but trees built on Ginny, as well as trees built on Family Search. But what really makes their platform different is that they can pass through records. So when you see a little brown icon, you could click there, and notice up here it says 1910 United States Federal Census. When I click and zoom in for Charles Bell and Mary Eve Bell, we find that there is a census record that I can look at. And when I get into the census record, here is the bridge that connects the two differing trees together. So I really like that MyHeritage not only utilizes tree information, but it uses its record information. And I really think this is pretty revolutionary, which is why sometimes you have to sacrifice the frequency of how often they update in order to get the record passed through for your matches. So I'm going to go ahead and give them a half point for that because I feel like it's really, really awesome. I just would have it like to happen a whole lot more. So the next area that we have to address is triangulation. And triangulation isn't a record triangulation, it's a genetic triangulation. Triangulation is where in a specific location on your genes, that person A matches person B matches person C, and person C matches person A at the same spot genetically. There's only one website that shows you that location triangulation. So we're going to come over to MyHeritage, and I'm going to show you when I review the DNA match, I also can see the Theory of Family Relativity. And I can scroll down a little bit further, and I can see that myself and my DNA match another person, but what's the really and truly makes all the difference in the world is this little icon right here that doesn't want to magnify. It is the triangulated segment. So this matches in two triangulated spots. So not only do our trees match, and not only do we share DNA, we share DNA at the same spot, so it's highly likely that our trees and our DNA match almost perfectly. And because of that triangulation tool from the chromosome browser, I have to give the win to MyHeritage. And because that chromosome browser gives you so much more confidence than just relying on trees, I really feel that that's worth 2 points. So who won out in the end? It's going to have to be MyHeritage. Now, we have been saying this a lot on the Family History Fanatics channel. If Ancestry would develop a chromosome browser, they would blow the competition out of the water. Since they don't, MyHeritage gets the win. They edged it out just slightly. So what do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Is there something I'm not taking into consideration when I'm looking at the tools? Let me know in the comments below, and we'll see you next time.